you kidding me?
Brings the crowd to their feet. Touchdown!
We're less than a week away from the Rocky Mountain Classic in Calgary at the Winsport Arena. 64 games over 5 days in 4 arenas, and we are very excited to be broadcasting each and every one of those. Hello and welcome to Hockey Talk episode 10. I'm Dave Dawson. Thanks so much for joining us today. And it is full swing hockey season, and some of these tournaments and events are coming through. And there's no bigger hockey fan that I've come across than the color commentator of the Calgary Flames, Peter Loubardias. Happy to have him on the show today, and he'll be calling some games for us at the Rocky Mountain Classic. Lou, thanks so much for joining us. Pleasure to have you on today, my friend. And when I say that, I don't use that as lightly. No. I know that you do love to consume hockey. So, what's it been like just to have, through COVID, back hockey going again, and as a fan, be able to watch some of these games?
First of all, Dave, thanks for having me. It's been far too long since we've hooked up. It's always been such a pleasure, our time together over the years, and I cherish it. It's been great. I love it. I'm not sure that you could love being in rinks much more than myself. It's been my life. It's meant everything in the world to me. And this project in particular, a lot of people, needless to say, associate me with my Flames job or, junior hockey. Obviously, there's nothing that's probably been better to me in my life and my passion for it. But I absolutely love these types of events because, at 14 and 15, Dave, I've always felt that this is kind of the real starting point to start to get a feel for really good young players and watching them grow. And you and I have had so many conversations over the years, so I'm not pulling your leg or anybody who's going to watch this. That might be as great a love affair as I have. And it's not just this sport either. I'm always so fascinated by the process and the growth. And, I'm going to be just as jacked up to do that first game next Wednesday as I will be to do the New York Rangers and the Flames on a Saturday. I love the game, and I love it at all levels, and grateful to have this opportunity.
And we're very excited to have you on board. So, Lou, why don't we just obviously talk about the process? We really enjoyed chatting with Ross McLean from McLean Hockey and the Calgary Hitmen, and he had said great things about your relationship over the years and how you two have been able to connect. And coming out of that COVID pandemic and now heading into some of these showcases like the Rocky Mountain Classic, where there's going to be a lot of eyes on some of these players, how difficult has that been of a process as someone like yourself who's watched a lot of these kids grow into that age in the development process? Like how difficult has it been to now go back into hockey?
I feel, first and foremost, the main thing for me is always the kids and their opportunity. And, listen, so much is made about, the elite kids, and we're going to see a ton of elite kids in the Rocky Mountain Classic. But at the end of the day, for me, and I stand by it, I'm just such a believer in being involved in sports, the teamwork, the commitment, everything that goes hand in hand, whether, you even play at the next level, or if you're fortunate enough to ever play junior or college hockey, or of course, very few are going to go on and play in the National Hockey League. But the commitment, the work, the teamwork, going through all of this, I think forget about hockey. It's so beneficial to your life. And even, with guys like yourself and your fine company coming along, they get a little more exposure, and that sometimes that can go a couple of different ways. But I felt so bad for the kids because at all the levels, you don't get it back. So delighted for them. I've had a chance in recent weeks to, get out to the Edge, get out to Winsport, watch, a few teams that we're going to have in the tournament. And Dave, here's what I would say, and I know that you guys are around this stuff all the time. I am blown away every time I go to one of these events at the level of skill. Like even in the last 10 years, maybe even 5, I am blown away. I sat last week at the Edge and watched, the Edge under 15 prep against OHA Edmonton. And I sat there and I went, no, you don't do this at 14 and 13. You don't shoot it like this. You don't skate it that way. You don't move it that way. Like, it's beyond impressive. It is absolutely beyond impressive. It really is. Now, I know I'm not a hard sell, but I also have enough comparison to go, these kids just keep getting better and better and better and better.
Yeah, that's a great point. And some of the showcases we've done, they add the mental health training and the mental health coaching aspect of it, which is so vital in the game of hockey and the development and the growth today. It's a great point. Just want to ask you, obviously, you're a guy that I think I can happily admit, and there's a number of guys that are going to be broadcasting at this event that do feel the same about you. You really do set the bar when it comes to preparation and that positive delivery and making sure that, that one player feels like they're in the NHL when it comes to how much you know about them. So, from what you've been able to research so far and have a look at, who are you excited about seeing and what have you seen so far that you've liked?
Oh, I don't even know where to start or where to stop. Now, again, we can have an amazing conversation when this event is over, because then I'll have an even better feel for this age group. Cameron Schmidt out of Kelowna is a guy that comes to mind. Reshny out of NAX in Edmonton comes to mind. There are so many. You don't even really know where to, the Beam kid out at the Edge I saw recently. Kosh Cash at the Edge, really good player. Saw a few kids, OHA Edmonton. Jerome McGinley is coaching, the team that Schmidt plays for, and his first year in the age group, son Joe. And I recently watched Tej play for Team BC in the WHL Cup for the 2006 birthdays, not the 2007s and 2008s. Really excited. This tournament, in some ways, has belonged recently to either Yale, who won the Abbotsford event, they're in it. Delta Green, they're in it. It's really a who's who of the best under 15 teams in Western Canada. This tournament and the John Reed can't miss if you're interested in watching these young men who come next May will be highly selected in a lot of cases at the upcoming Western Hockey League Bantam Draft.
One of the comments that Ross made, I thought was really intriguing, because when he talked about evaluating a player at some of these events, you look at their fatigue when, they're not scoring, if they can't pop that empty netter in late or things like that, their body language, and when it comes to development. And often some of these kids are run through the fine-tooth comb, and we forget that they're 14 and 15-year-old kids. What can you say to the development at this age? And, a player sometimes maybe peaks a little bit later, and how you can a guy like you who's watched a lot of hockey, how you can pick some of those players out and kind of see, where their career's going to go. And is that just as much an exciting aspect of the game as well as finding those hidden gems?
It is, for sure it is. And the fascinating thing even about this age group, or, the 15-year-olds, is because of growth, maturity. Some kids at this point are ahead of others because of some of those reasons. They've grown more, they've physically matured more, and it takes other kids in that respect a longer time to catch up. So, I have no trouble saying this. I was lucky enough for 1 year to spend a little time working with the Red Deer Rebels. I truly believe that junior scouting is more difficult than, in some respects, scouting in the NHL. There's nowhere near the same pressure or expectation. But you're talking, Dave, as you well know, about 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. And a lot happens not just in hockey, but in life. So, yeah, that is a fun part of it. But I will also say that progression is the most difficult part about evaluation. And I think sometimes your ability to look deeper than just the obvious. And the one thing I've always had great belief and still do and always will, it doesn't always translate, but I found over the years at a lot of different levels, when in good, competitive sporting situations like the Rocky Mountain Classic is going to be, when games are on the line, who prospers then? Who makes things happen at key times? Because over the years, including in the National Hockey League, there are guys that sometimes can even win scoring races. But what are you getting done when it's on the line? So that might be an area for me sometimes I look at too much. But I have great value in, watching, especially in events like this. Because, Dave, I think it starts early. I truly do. One great example for me is Brad Marchand. So the first time I'd really heard or seen Brad, he was playing for Team Atlantic in the under-17 challenge. And I watched him a couple times on video in that event. And, he helped that region at that point win a bronze medal. I'm like, this kid's pretty good. And then the next year, he's playing in Moncton as a 17-year-old in his draft year. And, Moncton ended up winning the Quebec League Championship. They lost to the Ramparts in the Memorial Cup final. But every time a game was on the line for that little guy who didn't play so little, I'm like, this guy is always in the middle of it when it matters the most. Then he went on to score a goal in each gold medal game in his 2 World Juniors. I think we remember Boston in 2011. I think in the most recent World Cup in 2016, when I heard going in, how's this guy in your top 16 guys? What's happening here? Oh, really? Did you watch how the event played itself out? I know I'm getting on a different tangent, but that's just me. But the point is, in a lot of cases, when you see guys, whether it was at the WHL Cup, whether it's going to be at this event, I can't wait till like semifinal Saturday when you get down to those 4 and they're playing to get into the championship games on Sunday. Those are fun because I love the competition. Doesn't matter what the age, sometimes not even the sport. So that's a fun part for me.
I've already got chills just thinking how exciting that's going to be. And just listening to your call when we go back and cut some highlights. It's going to be awesome. Lou, really appreciate you making time. Not that you need to sell it any more than you already have, but can you package up a little sales package for the viewers, parents, whoever may be wanting to watch this? How would you summarize what they're going to be expecting for 5 days of the WinSport?
What you are going to expect for people who might just want to tune in, who haven't and aren't familiar, you're going to see a level of this sport at this age that you're going to have a tough time comprehending how good these young people are. That's number one. You're going to get an opportunity to, again, watch not every single one, but the majority of all the best teams in Western Canada in this age group go head to head against one another. You are going to get a chance. We're going to my favorite thing is we're going to have a conversation 4 years from now, and we're going to be talking about kids playing at the World Junior. And then we're going to be talking about them playing in the National Hockey League. I know I have already seen 3 or 4 that I think are destined for that spot now. So if you enjoy the future of this sport and you can drag yourself away from where everybody makes all the money and think about the process and where these kids start to really make a name for themselves, these are the kind of events that you need to tune into.
One of the most positive, one of the most knowledgeable, and the most professional and nicest guys I know, Peter Loubardias. I am so grateful to call you a friend and very excited to have you on board calling some games for us next week, Lou. Thanks so much for making time today, my friend.
David, anytime, and can't wait to reconnect in person. And I'm not quite ready. You know how my preparation works. I don't go into any of these events. I'll put it to you this way. The best I can, I'm going to be ready on Wednesday at 2:30. That I can guarantee you.
And that is a good enough sales pitch for me. Thanks so much, Lou. And thank you for watching this episode of Hockey Talk. If that doesn't get you jacked up for the Rocky Mountain Classic, I don't know what will. Make sure to get your Game Pass. 64 games over 5 days, over 4 arenas on the WinSport on HNLive.ca. On behalf of our producers, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.